My 5 minutes actually.
Exactly. And he doesn't want to go for a proper debate and he wants to keep it on Friday. Why don't you have your guts, Iman and Deen, to defend your faith today, tonight? Go on, man. Don't show your tactics over here. If you are still a person who is a Yusalli, go to defend your faith right now. Let's see how you defend your morality of Muhammad. Okay, let's go for it.
All right. So I'm catching on that you guys have kind of a history, and I'm okay with that. But we're going to conduct this a little peacefully. Before we go any further, though, I need to establish: do you guys want to narrow down how many speakers we have? We have a lot of hands. The only reason why I started bringing people up is because it didn't look like Nazarene was coming back. It looks like he wants to finish the debate. I'm 100% okay with that. I only want to hear from Hassan and Nazarene. Do you guys want to proceed in this manner or an open speaking platform?
I don't really care. I'm just saying I'm limited on time because I have classes tomorrow. But anyway, I thought I mentioned that earlier. Didn't I mention that earlier or no?
Yeah, we did. That's why I said I'd rather, if we're going to get into a topic like that, that we just schedule that for Friday, and we can make this a little bit more casual tonight, and we can just
Yeah, I'm
go
fine
have
with
a nice back and forth.
like I said, I'm fine with the discussion for now. I mean, at this point, if I wanted to run from them, I would have just blocked them.
Right. And I respect that, and I thank you. So we're
These
going to
people
go to
don't actually know me at all. They're trying to say that I used to run in Clubhouse.
No, it's okay.
You
It's okay.
blind, like
We're
they
gonna,
what they would do,
we're
what
gonna
these
ignore.
type.
We're gonna ignore all that, and we're gonna move on with the conversation. We're gonna try to keep this peaceful. We're gonna stay off that last topic, and we're gonna start opening up new topics and kind of go around. We're gonna go to Nazarene since he was supposed to get his 5 minutes to talk, but the space crashed. So I wanted to make sure I give him ample enough time to speak of what his thoughts and opinions and how we want to continue this conversation.
I didn't even get a chance to continue though. I was cutting off in the middle of my
Rico,
thing.
drop everybody as a speaker, so they're not gonna interfere between Hassan and Nazarene. Once they decided they wanna bring someone, that's fine. But for now,
Yeah, we
just
can
Free
drop
do that.
all the
Palestine,
speakers.
free Palestine.
Free Palestine, bro. The
So is it my
religion free
time? Because I
Palestine will
have
be
already
free.
started. I did started. Yeah, Palestine will be free from Hamas. Yes, they are already getting free. Don't cry here, please, Hassan.
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
already
While
getting
your
beaten up
Christian
now,
brethren
right
are
and left.
also dying in Gaza, right? Explain that to me.
You can keep on crying. Yeah,
The
Yemen
third oldest
Muslims are
church in the
getting
Middle
killed
East,
in
it was destroyed at the
Muslims are
hands of the
getting killed in
Zionist
Yemen by
entity.
Saudi Arabia. Muslims are getting killed
We
by
want to
in
talk
Yemen
about how
by
the
Saudi
fact
Arabia.
that
Go and cry
almost
over there.
5% of the
Go and
Christian
cry over there.
population in Gaza.
370.
Please, Hassan and Nazareth. Now is only you two as a speaker. So you go ahead, Hassan. You give him the 5 minutes he need, and then once he's done, you jump in so that you guys, if you
Yeah,
guys need
we're
maybe
just
later
we're just gonna
snippet.
kind of reset, and we're gonna go to Nazarene. We're gonna let him do his spot. Understand Hassan. It might not seem a little bit fair, but just to clear it up, that's just how we're gonna go. We're gonna go Nazarene. He's got his 5 minutes, and then you can respond.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to start my. Let me just stop and reset. Okay. So where I have left off, I will start off again. Now, this is how a Muslim is ashamed of his own prophet, because obviously he was a prophet who has done multiple uh, erotic things, things which can't even be spoken in front of the public. He has done it. For example, it's just when we are speaking about the morality issue, it is not just limited to the child marriage, the child bride, Aisha. It was not even limited to that. He had an adopted son called Zayed. Muhammad used to go to Zayed's house, and one day Zaid was not there. When Zaid was not there, Muhammad saw his wife Zainab naked. Al-Tabri, History of Al-Tabri, Volume 8, page number 4. Muhammad is looking at his own daughter-in-law. He is looking at her naked. She was bare naked. And then Muhammad is lusting after her. The admiration for her entered into the heart of Muhammad, and Muhammad is saying, "Praise be to Allah who changed people's heart." Allah all of a sudden give him Quran chapter 33, verse number 37. And then what happens? Zaid is divorcing Zainab. Allah is, in some of the references in Imam Qurtubi's tafsir, it says that Allah made Zaid's penis to swell so that Zaid could not even have intercourse with Zainab. And then Zaid divorced Zainab, and Muhammad took Zainab. Now people will start speaking that Muhammad married his own adopted son's daughter. So all of a sudden, Allah is revealing Quran chapter 33, verse number 37, and Allah is making such a filthy act of Muhammad. Okay, fine, that's good, beautiful. This is not even one instance, there are multiple instances. Quran chapter 3, verse I believe it is 161, where there was an instance where a red velvet cloth, I think that would be a woman's underwear, that was missing in the Battle of Badr. And people, the Muslims, started accusing Muhammad on it. All of a sudden, Allah is revealing Quran to him, saying, "Oh, the prophets would not do such a thing. And if any prophet would do, then they have to bring whatever they have stolen or taken in the last day." And we know from their own hadiths that when Muhammad died, this red velvet cloth was placed on his grave, which proves that Muhammad was also a thief. He used to steal things. We have seen in Aisha's case, multiple references are there, but the children, whom a Muslim can marry, who have not yet menstruated, I will go back to that. I will give you more references. My brother Jace or Warrior will post that in the chat, the link that I have provided. If you go to the Muslim commentaries, please provide that link so that others can also learn from that. One of the commentator, Al-Dak B. Musaim, he says, Al-Dak al-Musaim al-Balki, he says that it is talking about the children. They are not old enough, those who have not yet reached puberty and was touched or consummated. Means basically, these children, they have already had been sexually abused by Muslims. It is talking about those. That is one commentator. Qatada B. Dima al-Bashri, he is mentioning, and they are those who have not yet menstruated. These children are the ones who have not yet menstruated. Their waiting period for next nikah is 3 months. Islam is a filthy religion that just allows sexual intercourse with little children. Nothing more, nothing less. Another reference, Ismail B. Abd al Rahman al Suddi, he also mentions the same thing. He says, the one whose menstruation stopped, her period is 3 months, and those who have not yet menstruated, he said, maids,
One more minute.
maids or young girls, maids or young girls. So this is talking about children all throughout. If you read Quran chapter 65 verse 4, this Allah whom Muhammad's imagination has created is allowing little children to be molested. And that is precisely why in Iraq now they are going to bring up a bill where they are going to allow children, 9-year-old girls, to be married off. One more reference that I will give, Abdul Rahman bin Zaid bin Aslam also mentions, and Allah made his mercy also to those who do not have menstruated, the young girls, 3 months. I can give you so many references from Bukhari, from Ibn Jarir al-Tabri, from Ibn Masud al-Mutrudi, multiple al-Tabarani, and so on and so forth. So, defend
That's
that,
5 minutes.
Hassan.
If you can wrap it up, thank you. Sweet, thank you, Hassan. Go ahead for 5 minutes.
Okay, so in regards to that, this is the problem that I have with intellectual dishonesty, because if you actually bother to read the whole thing, which he didn't, go all the way at the bottom of the citation that I brought, and it's brought from Al-Manhaj. It literally says that in terms of consummation, it applies to those who have reached biological maturity. It is not for those who have not reached it, who are not, and i.e., not capable of bearing it. Because literally, it says it all the way at the bottom, and it condemns it. Anyway, because I wasn't, how do I explain this? I wasn't allowed to finish it last time. But anyway, it says Ahl Sunnah are unanimously agreed upon the permissibility of marriage contract without intercourse. Keyword without to a young girl, i.e., somebody who has reached puberty. They also unanimously agreed upon the impermissibility of enjoying a young wife until she is able to have it, to have intercourse. And this is and the idea that that it is okay to have intercourse with someone who has not reached it is considered something as ugly in the religion of Islam by necessity and rational intuition, and no one would do it except someone who is unjust to himself and arrogant towards his Lord, deserving of punishment, shameless, impudent, and with an inverted nature. This is not doubtful to a rational person whose mind has not been corrupted by desires, nor has following whims and innovation corrupted, nor has following whims and innovation corrupted his intellect. Anyway, that being said, let's talk about the issue between Muhammad sallallahu and Zainab bint Jahsh, for example, because he made a lot of lies and but it's kind of typical of people of his character. When it came to the issue of divorce, because he didn't mention that part, he didn't mention the fact that the Prophet ﷺ advised Zayd bin Haritha to not to continue to try to keep from divorcing her. He didn't encourage Zayd bin Haritha to divorce Zainab at all. It just reached to the point where there was unreconcilable differences and there was a lot of conflict and problems. And if, like, lady, if I may, I can go over the report of Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anh, regarding the issue of that issue. And it said, from عن محمد بن أبي بكر المقدمي عن حمد بن زيد بن ثابت, and Anas bin Malik, narrated by Anas bin Malik radiallahu anh, he said, Zayd bin Haritha came to the Prophet complaining about his wife. The Prophet kept on saying to him, be afraid of Allah and keep your wife. Anas said, quote, if Allah's messenger were to conceal anything, he would have concealed this verse. Quote, Zainab used to boast before the wives of the Prophet boast before the wives of the Prophet ﷺ and used to say, quote, you were given in marriage by your families, while I was married, quote, to the Prophet by Allah from over the seven heavens, end quote. And Zayd bin Thabit also recited the verse, but yeah, Muhammad, you hide in your heart which Allah was about to make manifest, you did fear the people. And that's the verse, and that's actually referring to the verse that he was citing
All right, one
earlier.
more minute.
As it was revealed in connection with Zainab and Zayd bin Haritha. And if you guys are wondering, you can find this from, let me see here, from the ones who also narrated it, and there's a total of 9. Muhammad bin Abi Bakr al-Muqaddimi, Mu'allib bin Mansour, Afan Muslim, Muhammad bin al-Fadil, Abu Nu'man al-Arim, Abdullah bin Abu Wahhab al-Hajbi, who also adds that Zayd wanted to divorce Zainab and had come to consult. This is in another riwayah. Ahmed bin Abd al-Dhahabi, who also said the same, who also added the same thing as Abdullah ibn Abdul Wahhab. Muhammad bin Sulaiman al-Asadi also said the same thing. Well, no, not the same thing, but also this narration was transferred from him. Also Muhammad bin Musa, also the same thing. Mu'ammad bin Ismail also said this as well. And it said that there's also other riwayat and wording regarding other narrations that also coincide with this. And also Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal also records this in his magnum opus book of hadith, Kitab Musnad Ahmad. And it says in Mu'ammad bin Ismail عن Hamad bin Zayd bin Thabit, Anas bin Malik, who said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came to Zayd bin Haritha's place and saw his wife Zainab.
John, please.
Yeah. Can I finish the text, the quote, and then that's
Yeah,
it? It's
yeah,
not going to be
but
long.
yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would give the same. I
No,
would give the
and I
same.
get it, but I'm trying to stick to the, you know what I mean? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. Like, having it as a go by go thing, it just not really. Anyway, but he also
Well,
said the same thing.
set,
Zayd bin
we'll set
Haritha.
better parameters on the next one. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, that works. Anyway, Zayd bin Haritha came to him complaining of his wife. The Prophet said to him, "Keep your wife with you and fear Allah." He said the verse that was revealed in which is chapter 33, verse 37, and that verse itself was revealed about Zainab. There was no encouragement at all for him for Zayd to divorce Zainab. It wasn't a sly little trick. And if you guys would like, I can gather the citations. They're quite long though. Al-Albani also says this in Silsila al-Hadith al-Da'ifa al-Mawdu'a. Also Ibn Adi al-Kamil في al-Du'afa also says in it, also as well as Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani and in Lisan al-Mizan. So there's a variety of them. And also al-Dhahabi as well, which is in regards to في العلم المصطلح الحديث, which is the book on the science of hadith by Imam al-Dhahabi, who was a contemporary and and was a student of Ibn Taymiyyah, like the famous Ibn Kathir as well. But I don't have enough time, so I'll leave it at
Yeah,
that.
we'll come back around. Don't worry. Go ahead, Nazarene.
So it is 6 minutes and 29 seconds.
Yeah, that over.
Okay. Okay. So I will start my time now. Okay. So, did you guys see how blatantly a Muslim has to lie by saying that, Islam allows the age of puberty? There is no age of puberty in Islam. It does not even say puberty remotely. In Bukhari, volume 7, page number 56, 57, hadith number 5133, it says like this: giving one's young children in marriage is permissible by virtue of the statement of Allah. And for those who have no monthly courses, i.e., are still immature, Quran chapter 65, verse number 4. And the idda for the girl before puberty is 3 months. Now, the hadith is quoting 5 133. If you go to the book, you can see the whole context of it. Hadith 5133, Hadith number 5133, narrated Aisha that the Prophet wrote marriage contract with her when she was 6 years old, and he had intercourse with this child. He consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old. She did not even reach puberty. I have already proved that she was playing with dolls. In Islam, a girl child is only allowed to play with dolls unless she has reached the age of puberty. Once she reached the age of puberty, no images can be, used or played with which has face in it. So Aisha was still playing with her dolls. Aisha was still, on her swing while Muhammad was having intercourse with her when she was 9-year-old child. She did not even reach to puberty. There is no such mention of puberty in Islam. There is not even a need for puberty in Islam. In Islam, a non-menstruating child, a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old child can be given to nikah. And the Shia scholars say, especially Ayatollah Sistani, Ayatollah Khomeini, and all of that. And I know Hassan is not Shia, but still, I'm telling this that these scholars say that these little girls can be enjoyed by a Muslim man by having his male private part between the thighs of this child and then have enjoyment from it. Once she reached the age of 9, then you can have intercourse with that child. It is still pedophilia, and Islam allows it. I have given so many references that Aisha had no idea what was happening to her. You can see that on the chat. You can see that on the previous comments also that I have made. Now, he jumped on to defending Muhammad lusting after his own adopted son's daughter. What did happen there? Hassan, what was the situation? Muhammad is going to Zaid's house. Muhammad is looking at Zaid's wife. Zainab is still naked inside her chamber. You can go to the chat and you can see in Al Tabri, volume 8, page number 4, it clearly mentions that the admiration for her, for his own adopted son's wife, she is not his wife. She is not Muhammad's wife. She is her adopted son's wife. She is not halal for him. Muhammad is lusting after her. You have to see. Now he said that, oh, Muhammad said to Zaid, keep your wife. But Zaid refused. Zaid said, I want to divorce my wife. Because Zaid knew Muhammad's character. If Muhammad's eyes fall on a woman, then the husband must divorce her immediately. That is the scholarly opinion, especially Imam Qurtubi in his tafsir in Quran chapter 33, verse number 50. If you read Imam Qurtubi's tafsir, there are 16 privileges that are given to Muhammad. The 10th privilege that is given to Muhammad is based on this particular instance of Zaid and Zainab, where Imam Qurtubi is mentioning that if a husband and a wife are walking on the street and Muhammad's eyes fall on the wife, then the husband must immediately divorce her. Immediately divorce her and hand it over the wife to the husband, to Muhammad. Now my question is, Hassan, imagine if you are living in the 6th century and you are walking on the street with your wife, your beautiful wife and your children and so on and so forth, and immediately Muhammad's eyes fall on your wife. What will you do, Hassan, as a good Muslim? You have to divorce her. You have to give your wife to Muhammad so that Muhammad can have intercourse with her. Because Muhammad does not even have to give any meher based on Quran chapter 33, verse number 50. Because Muhammad can marry, have nikah with, no, there is no marriage even, have nikah with n number of women, believing women who want to offer themselves. So, Hassan, what would you do? Now, imagine, Hassan, you have a child who is 9 years old. Okay, and Muhammad is coming to your house, and he see the 53, 56-year-old Muhammad is looking at your child who is 9 years old, and then Muhammad is saying that, Hassan, I want to have nikah with your 9-year-old child. Now, your child has not yet menstruated because the menstruation cycle even starts for children from from 12 and 13. Then also they are not physically capable. What will you do, Hassan? Will you give your 9-year-old child to Muhammad? And I believe that you would do, because Muhammad is equal to Allah based on Quran and your hadiths. Because you have to obey Muhammad and you have to obey Allah. Because in a particular topic, in particular situation, in Quran chapter 33, verse 36, it says, if Allah and Muhammad take a decision, then the believers cannot overrule it. So, Hassan, would you do that? I would want to see your answer on these two particular topics. What would you do in your wife's situation when you're walking on the road, and when your child, if Muhammad enters your house and your child is there, what would you do? Mike is yours, brother.
Go ahead, Hassan.
Is it my turn to speak, or is this rhetorical?
No, it's your turn. You're good. He ended almost a minute and a half early, but we're good.
Okay, it's just a bunch of emotional tirade and demagoguery. But anyway, he merely affirmed my point earlier about the fact that it wasn't even that it was not even encouraged for him to divorce for Zaid bin Haritha to divorce Zainab. And I brought the various rulings from well, not rulings, but statements from Musnad Ahmad as well, and statements from Silsila al-Da'ifa, from Sheikh al-Bani, and as well as a variety of things. But regarding to his question, I mean, the idea was put forth originally in terms of marriage by Abu Bakr. Aside from excluding the hadith on the dreams pertaining to it. So he did not request, originally he himself did not request to marry Sayyidina Aisha. So it was done, so this marriage was arranged at the hands of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, as far as you mentioning Sistani, that's not hujjah for me. So that's a pointless matter. Another thing is what he's trying to do is he's trying to word things in a way to get me. I think he's trying to get under my skin. I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, I don't actually care about that. Furthermore, he still refused to answer the fact that you don't find anything in the Bible that talks about the minimum marital age of consent. He actually completely avoided it because of the fact that he can't defend it. It's impossible for him. It's simply impossible. So as a result, what he'll do is he'll go through, like I said, use machine gun tactics, go through a large amount of verses and narrations, and then he'll try to, as in a means to save time or to paint a particular narrative, he will try to make inkal. I'll use inkal of these narrations and verses. Inkal means an interpretation, individualistic interpretation. For those who don't know what inkal means. That being said, though, how much time do I have left? Because I have a feeling I won't have enough time to go
You
through
got about
all of these.
two and a half minutes.
Yeah, these back and forths are way too short. That's why he ran away from my first request of it being 10 or 15.
Again, I'll set
But
up
yeah,
a quiz
if
for
anybody
that. But
wants to bring those, but Snippy, in regards to my other earlier statements before, the fact that this wasn't even forced or encouraged, I brought the citations Lizan and Mizan, volume 3, page 112. إصرار السلسلة الحديث الضعيفة والموضوعة from the edition of Dar al-Ma'arif, edition year 1992, section volume 14, section 99, number 6848. Ibn Adi al-Kamil fil Du'afa, volume 4, page 333. Also, as well as al-Dhahabi, Imam al-Dhahabi, and then he says, and it's he quotes it as well. Now, al-Mizzi Ibn al-Hajjaj, Tahdhib al-Kamil, volume 23, page 510. I can keep going and going in regards to the narrations that supported my point. Now, going back to something that was mentioned earlier, do I have how much extra time do I have?
you got about another minute.
Okay. So if I could have if you guys don't mind, I wouldn't mind going another minute.
Good.
Like two, in other words, 2.5 minutes.
That's fine.
If that's okay with
He'll just add on to
Azrael.
his, so it'll be all right, I think.
Okay. Yeah, but regarding the issue of the age of Rebecca, he tries to make the claim, carrying buckets of water. He tries to argue that this is simply not possible, and and ironically, many of the rabbis, they don't have an issue with this idea, or the issue of the age factor. And keep in mind, this isn't really an endorsement of pedophilia or anything of the matter. He's just using that as a logical fallacy. It's a character assassination tactic. It's merely just having an intimate understanding of the anthropology of the time period and understanding it through theology. It's not an endorsement or a condemnation of anything. It's just taking it for what it is. But, he seems to not be able to understand such a thing. That being said, I think with the next one I'll go through more quotes from scholarly sources on the matter because, like I said, these type of things require the application of Brandolini's law, and anybody who studied logic knows about the concept of Brandolini's law being known as the BS principle. The amount to refute nonsense requires a magnitude greater than that needed to produce it, as in the case with a discussion like this. Anyway, how much time do I have left, Snippy?
Well, it's over unless you want to add more on.
I mean, that's fine. I'm just waiting for him. I'm just writing everything down anyway.
That sounds great. Let's go ahead and go over to Nazarene then.
Okay. Is it 6 minutes now for me?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. So thank you so much for proving again, Hassan, that you are self-contradicting yourself. See how he said that, oh, Imam Sistani, Ayatollah Khomeini, these are Shia guys, so they are not hujja on me. Yeah, I know that
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
not
they're
hujja on
not.
you.
So
But
bringing them, it's
Hassan, no, no,
irrelevant.
no, no,
It's
no,
like
no,
me
no, no, no,
using
no. Don't pick up
Mormons.
your mic. Don't pick up your mic. Don't
Yeah,
pick up your mic.
let
Don't pick
let
up
them
your mic.
talk. Yeah, I know it's hard, but
Don't pick up your mic.
we got to kind of do that.
Yeah. So see how he says they are not hujja on me. Hujja means that, they are not authority on me. That is exactly what I'm saying, that these rabbis that you are bringing in, they are not hujja on me. What is hujja on me is the Bible, the scripture. Now you, on the other hand, have to prove that the Rebecca that you are bringing, who is a 3-year-old child, she was strong enough to carry so many number of buckets of water going deep down into the well, and then pull that water and then bring and give to all of these camels. The other thing that he accused me by saying that, oh, then bring in the evidence that what does the Bible say about the age of marriage. Bible is not a book that is based on, sexualization and allowing pedophilia. No, Bible does not do that. That is only available in Islam. That is only done by only one false prophet, who is Muhammad, for his own sexual desire. Bible is very clear about that. If you see it from the start itself, in Genesis chapter 2, where it says, Genesis chapter 2 verse 22, it says, and the Lord God built the rib which he took from Adam into a woman and brought her to Adam. And Adam said, this is now is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called a woman. Adam is not looking at a small child. And Adam did not lusted after a child and wanted to have intercourse with a child, because God did not bring in a little girl in front of him. God brought a grown up, a complete woman in front of Adam. Okay, so Bible does not do that. And if you go later on, you can see all of the things above. Again, I mentioned about Genesis chapter 24, where it's very clearly stating that Bible does not allow pedophilia, and Rebecca and Isaac's case was not even a case of pedophilia. Rebecca was given, she gave her consent for that marriage. Very clearly, Rebecca is giving the consent for her marriage. Okay. Now, the problem with Muslims here is that they are so ashamed of their own scholars. They are so ashamed of their own books. See how he is quoting, all of these fiqh text, jurisprudence text. I am not even quoting jurisprudence text. I am quoting straight away Hadith, Sahih Bukhari 6130, which clearly states that Aisha was allowed to play with dolls and similar
Can wait
images.
real quick. Can Nazarene?
Images
Can you
is
repeat the
forbidden,
last one?
but it.
Nazarene, can you repeat the last one, please?
I am not
Sorry, I
even
was away. I
quoting
was
any
away.
jurisprudence. I am not quoting any jurisprudence. I am quoting you from your own text. I am quoting from Sahih
Nazarene, I'm
Bukhari.
asking you to repeat earlier. I was away.
Snippy, what is this happening?
He
Why
didn't.
is he getting involved here?
Wait, just wait, just wait.
I
So
was trying to.
yeah,
I
he just
had to
wants to know what
go
No,
verse
you do
you're
not
for a
have to.
quoting. He didn't
second.
catch it. That's all.
Yes.
He just wanted to know what verse you're quoting because he didn't hear it. So if you can just repeat that part, then go ahead and keep going. You should be. Yeah, you should be on mute. Go ahead and keep going, Nazarene. You still got another 3.5 minutes. You should be good, Nazarene.
Yeah, I was muted. So again, I have already quoted the scripture portion in Genesis chapter 24. I have quoted the scripture portion from Genesis chapter 2, which clearly states that it is a woman, it's not a child. Bible does not have pedophilia. Bible does not allow children to be married. You can see when Jesus is raising up a child, a 12-year-old child, Jesus is calling her Talitha Kum, little girl. Jesus is not referring to a 12-year-old as a woman. So in the Jewish concept also, a 12-year-old is still a child, a little girl. But in Islamic concept, a 1-year-old child is also, she can be also given for nikah. And when she reached the age of 9, you know, the Muslim man, a 50, 55, 60, 70-year-old man, can have intercourse with a little child. Now, the problem is not even, here. The problem is multifaceted. The morality of Muhammad is multifaceted. The morality of Muhammad is so deep down that if you look at the life of Muhammad and his relationship with his own daughter, Fatima, it is more horrible. It is more horrible to the level that Muhammad used to suck the tongue of his own daughter. Let me quote from his own books. Now, it is Hujjah for you. You cannot say this is not Hujjah. This is from Al-Tabari, Muhib al-Din, page number 36, which is in where, Aisha herself is saying, and she is saying this, okay? It says like this, um, Muhammad, he used to kiss her in her mouth and suck her tongue on the authority of Aisha. Muhib al-Din, Al-Tabri's book, Muhib al-Din. Let me quote one more. This is from the Book of the Questioner's Trust, including Fatima's Virtue and Virtues, Abdul Rauf al-Manawi's book, page number 91, where it says that Muhammad is asking Fatima to come closer, and Fatima comes closer. Muhammad says, come closer a little bit more. And then Muhammad spread his fingers, and then he placed his palm between her breast. Muhammad is pressing his hands between the breast of his own daughter, and then he is raising his head. You can see that Muhammad used to suck the tongue of Fatima, his own daughter, which no prophet has ever done. See how he was even not even capable enough to come close to touching Paul. He could not even do that. But Muhammad used to suck the tongue of his own daughter. He is trying to justify the illicit marriage of
One more
Muhammad
minute.
and his own adopted adopted son Zaid's wife, Zainab. He is trying to defend it. He is not even touching the fact that I mentioned that Muhammad looked at her with admiration, and the admiration for her, the lust for her, entered the heart of Muhammad, and that is when Quran chapter 33, verse number 37 has been revealed in that context. In Bible we cannot see any such instance where God is revealing scriptures based on the lust of a prophet. God is condemning that again and again and again. So brother, the topic is in the morality of Muhammad and Apostle Paul. You did not even touch the topic, and I've been exposing again and again. I want you to touch Paul, because once you touch Paul, you know that your own scriptures will completely decimate you. So thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Oh, so the Bible doesn't endorse lustful acts? What about when it comes to to having concubines, acquiring concubines? Because I'm gonna ask you a question, Nazarene. Nazarene, come on, Nazarene. I've got a question for you. Do you believe that Jesus is also the God of the Old Testament? Yes or no?
Are we having a rapid fire right now?
Nazarene, just answer the question. Yes or no?
Are
I'm
we
not
having a
serious
rapid
with that.
fire right now?
And Nazarene,
Go ahead,
answer the
Hassan, you
Nazarene.
do
question.
not
Yes or
Just
no?
dictate.
don't
You do
speak
not
over each
dictate the
other.
debate, brother.
I
You
mean,
do
if we
not
want a
dictate the
rapid fire, we
debate.
can do that. Let's do a 10-minute rapid fire. Actually, no,
Now,
let's do
are you
15.
going to do a rapid fire right now?
I'm just simply answering a question. Is it? Well, asking you a
So
question. Yes, a
are
simple
you
yes or no.
saying
Do
that
you hold
Are you
Nazarene?
saying that
Nazarene,
Torah and
listen,
Gospels are
Nazarene.
corrupted?
Just answer the question.
Hassan,
Don't be cowardly. Do you
yeah, I'm
believe
answering
that
you.
Jesus
I'm
is the
answering
God
to
of
your
the Old
question.
Testament? Yes or no?
I'm answering to your question. Do you think
No,
that
you're
the Torah
not.
and the
You're
Gospels are
running.
corrupted?
You're running.
No, I'm
You're
not
running.
running.
Yes
I'm not
or
Prophet
no? It's
Muhammad.
very simple.
I'm
Nazarene,
not Prophet
yes or
Muhammad.
no? Do you
Muhammad
hold that
ran
Jesus is the
away.
God of the Old Testament?
Hassan,
Answer the
Brother,
question.
I want
brother
to hear
Hassan.
Well,
Hassan
Snippy,
ask
he's
his
trying to
question,
run.
and then we're going to go hear Nazarene's answer. So, Hassan, ask your question once, and then we're gonna go Nazarene.
I asked him, does he believe that Jesus is the God of the Old Testament? Yes or no?
All right, there you go. Go.
It's a very simple question.
Without interrupting him, let him answer.
It's a simple. He should just give a simple, straightforward answer.
But let him answer it the way he wants. So respectfully.
Yeah, you do
If
not
he-
dictate how I
yeah.
answer.
But
I'll answer.
he's gonna try to run around it.
No, Hassan.
Let
You,
him do it.
I'm not. See how he has not
Yeah,
even
I
addressed to
get it.
any of the topics that I have mentioned.
Oh,
None of the
Nazarene. Oh,
topics
don't
that
worry. I
I have
am Nazarene.
brought.
Hassan,
Not
Hassan.
even
if you
about the
were no,
pedophilia.
listen. If you weren't afraid,
All right, let Nazarene speak. We're not gonna go back and forth like that. Uh, Nazarene, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So you see how a Muslim has to run to the Bible and say, "Oh, is Jesus the God of the Bible in the Old Testament?" Yahweh is the God of the Bible. And yes, Jesus is Yahweh. But the problem with Muslim is the moment he attacks the Old Testament, he is basically saying that Allah and Muhammad are liars because Muhammad asked the Jews to bring their Torah and he placed his hand over it and he placed the Torah, the book, on the
that
pillow.
hadith
And then he
is
said, I
actually weak.
believe,
But
and I'm
okay.
not completed. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Well, the thing is I
I'm not
gave
done yet.
you
I'm
a
not done yet.
question
I'm
and
not
you
done yet.
said
Stop
yes, that he
crying.
is the God
Stop
of the Old
crying.
Testament.
Hassan, you got to let him finish. You asked him a question. I understand it's hard to hear somebody all the way out, but please let him finish, and then you can respond. Thank you. Nazarene, go ahead.
So I want Hassan to go and attack the Old Testament and go and attack the Bible, because if he attacks the Old Testament, if he attacks the Torah, the first 5 books, and the Tanakh altogether, he is basically saying that Allah and Muhammad are lying, because Allah is saying that I am giving you Quran, making the Torah and the Injil musaddiqan. Allah is making the Torah and the Injil as musaddiqan. Basically, Allah is confirming the Torah and the Injil and revealing Quran. So if he says that Allah is lying, then I'm okay with it. If he is saying that in the Torah, in the Old Testament, there are certain things which are bad, basically he is saying that his prophet is a false prophet, because his prophet placed his hand over it and said, I believe in thee and the one who revealed this. So is your prophet lying at that point of time, Hassan? That is my answer. Go ahead. Attack.
Hassan, you got your full time, so go ahead and use whatever you want.
Okay. I noticed how instead of giving a simple answer, you had to go on a long tirade and then go to what I like to call the fallacy of goal posting. Anyway, so he said that Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. Okay, cool. And he also said, and the reason why I brought this up, right, is because he mentioned that the Bible itself does not endorse lustful actions. It does not endorse people acting on lustful actions. When the fact of the matter is that in the Old Testament, it's actually endorsed multiple times. Like in the case of Moses, when they go for the Amalekites, or in the case of Deuteronomy chapters 21 and verses 10 to 19, where it talks about when you go to a war against your enemies and the Lord your God delivers them into your hands and you take captives. Verse 11, if you notice among the captives a beautiful woman and are attracted to her, you may take her as your concubine. Bring her into your home and shave her head, trim her nails, put aside the clothes she was wearing when captured. It endorses taking women in war as concubines. There's nothing he can do to get away with that. It's simply unavoidable. Moving in further, and that's the reason why I mention this. And if we talk about, for example, the ideas of lustful actions, it also endorses the Bible, also endorses bloodlust. When we're talking about when it's talking about killing the Amalekites. But how much time do I have, Snippy?
You
Snippy.
have about 2.5, almost 3 minutes.
Yeah, for example, if we go into 1 Samuel chapter 15 verse 3, when it says, "Now go and attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them, put them to death, men and women, children, infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys." So not only does it endorse, does the Bible itself endorse lustful actions in terms of desire, but it also endorses bloodlust, reckless bloodlust. Or in the case of the Quran, with the Quran and Sunnah, it does not allow the deliberate attacking of women and children, or in the deliberate slaughter of livestock. And you won't find it in any authentic isnad where it says that women and children are allowed to be deliberately attacked and targeted. But chances are, knowing him, he's going to try to use the hadith of regarding collateral damage. But he'll avoid the verse, the narrations afterward, where it talks about the prohibition. But that being said, when it comes to these topics, why do you keep saying that I'm ashamed? I'm not. There's really nothing for me to be ashamed about. I simply don't hold to the shaming tactics that you resort to. I just hold them to be non-arguments. I'm not a modernist by any means. No, I don't enjoy children, even though that you would probably try to say that. I don't hold to these viewpoints. These are just fallacious talking points, and they're not arguments. So, going on to that, you haven't managed to talk about anything pertaining to age of consent, because age of consent does not even exist in the Bible. You will find not a single verse that talks about it. As a matter of fact, you have a variety of church fathers, at least the ones that did marry or had women, that would marry women that were quite young. And if I have more time later on, I can bring up names of these people. And no, you can't say that these are. You can't argue and say that these are fallacious talking points, because some of these are authoritative to the legitimacy of said scripture. Because your version of scripture, according to you guys, it was passed down by some of these patriarchs. Not to mention the fact where you talk about the fact of the prophet endorsing the Bible and the Quran. I actually wrote a chapter refutation against this. If I can, I can't go through all of it, but it goes through the fact that this is a nonsensical talking point according to the Quran and Sunnah itself. So I will provide that as well. But that being said, Snippy, how much further do I have?
You can go another minute or two if you want, then we'll give him equal time. Do you need a little bit more time?
The thing is, he wants which we call it. If he wants a crossfire, I'd love to do that. Better yet, I'm gonna ask, can we make it a 10-minute crossfire?
It's 9:50.
I'd love a 10-minute crossfire.
We'll go to 9:51. Do you mind if he go ahead and start since you just finished?
I mean, are we talking about like crossfire, or what are we doing here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Crossfire
I'm
means
sure
both
he's
of us
okay with it.
talking.
I have to give a rebuttal
By the
now.
way, so 10 minutes.
Sounds good to me.
I have to give a rebuttal now, and then we can have a crossfire.
How many rebuttals has there been done total?
I haven't been counting. Just let him respectfully let him rebut, and then if you want your crossfire,
Okay,
you can start the
yeah,
crossfire.
sure.
Go ahead, man.
Okay, how many minutes for the rebuttal?
6 minutes.
Okay.
So can I
By the
start?
way,
Snippy?
one last thing. By the way, Tafsir ibn Kathir refutes the notion about the prophets and him endorsing the Bible. If you read it, in the Tafsir Surah Al-Baqarah, it goes into that. So it's in this first and second volume, as well as Tafsir Al-Ma'idah. It goes into that as well. So yeah.
Go ahead, Nazarene. You're 6 minutes starts now.
So, my dear audience, this is what happens when a Muslim comes, and start lying about the Bible. Did you hear Hassan lying about the Bible? Did you see how he blatantly, like his false prophet Muhammad, he also lied the same thing, because Muhammad allowed lying. It is allowed for a Muslim to lie in three cases. In case of a Muslim man lying to his wife, a Muslim man can lie in case of a war, or a Muslim man can lie to bring in peace. This is what is happening. He is lying. Did you hear him lie by saying that God is allowing to marry or make concubines? He said concubines. Deuteronomy chapter 21. If you would have read here, you would have known, Hassan. Stop using these takiya, these unnecessary blatant lying tactics. It's not going to help. Deuteronomy chapter 21. Let me read it for you. I know you are like your false prophet, but let me read it for you. If thou go to fight against thy enemies, and the Lord thy God deliver thee them into thy hand, and thou lead them away captive, and sees in the number of the captives a beautiful woman, and lovest her, means if you love her, and wilt have her to wife. If you want to take her as your wife, not as concubines. Concubines are there in Quran chapter 4, verse number 24, where Allah is allowing to rape women in front of their husbands. My dear brother warrior is going to post a reference for you, where Quran chapter 4, verse 24 was being revealed in connection with raping women in front of their husbands, pagan husbands. I will read it for you. You said, oh, Quran does not allow to abuse women and children, to unalive, kill women and children. I'm going to bring that also. Listen to this, Hassan, and very carefully listen, because this is a Sahih Hadith, and this is bringing the the true nature of Muhammad from your own text, and you should be ashamed of your own prophet. Okay, listen to this. This is what it is saying. Sunan Abu Dawud 2155, it says like this. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri said that the Prophet, the Apostle of Allah, sent a military expedition to Awtas on the Battle of Hunain. They met their enemies and fought with them. They defeated them and took them captives. Some of the companions of Apostle of Allah were reluctant to have relations with the female captives because of their pagan husbands. The husbands were also there. Okay, so the companions were reluctant. Oh, we do not want to have intercourse with these women because their pagan husbands are there. What happens? Okay, we will go further. It says like this: because of their pagan husbands. So Allah the Exalted sent down the Quranic verse: all married women are forbidden unto you, except those whom your right hand possess. If your right hand possess women are even married, it does not even matter. You can have intercourse with them. What is this? What exactly is this? This is called as Islam. Snippy, am I audible?
Yeah, you are. I
Snippy,
think.
am
I
I
think.
audible?
I think Hassan lost volume. I also lost my co-host. I'm trying to get him back up here.
No, I actually
Right.
somehow my thing crashed and I got taken out of the thing. So
All right.
I just heard
So let
something
me
about
finish.
Something
a
happened because
molested
I also
Hernan.
lost my
I
co-host.
will. Yeah, I will go ahead and complete that.
I don't know,
So
but
you
let me
said that
see.
what
I'll
you
see
said,
if I can
Hassan. Let me finish
switch
this.
to my computer if that's fine with you guys. Because this is the second time that there's been a crash, or third. Was it second or third? Um,
Okay.
Face
this
cracked
is annoying.
So
once, but I haven't had any issues since the first time.
Yeah, well, mine crashed. I guess something happened for Nazarene's crash as well earlier.
well, yeah, but now it's working fine for me, so I don't have any issue. Well, anyway, moving on to Sunan Abu Dawud 2155, where
What
Allah's
was?
apostle
What
is
did you
giving.
say before Battle of Hernan? By the way, because it crashed before you mentioned Battle of Hernan, and I came back.
I'm
In the
gonna give
Battle
you.
of Hunain,
I'm gonna give you extra time,
when
Nazarene,
Muhammad.
to re-go
Yeah,
over.
yeah. You
Yeah.
just give him
Okay.
extra time. I didn't get a chance to even hear it.
Okay, can you tell me how much time do I have left? Snippy, can you tell me how much time do I have left?
Just take what you need, man.
Okay, okay,
I'm
okay,
sure
okay,
he's
okay.
understanding because you got to
So,
go over stuff.
okay, I will read the hadith again because he said that in Islam you cannot actually kill or hurt women and children, but I am showing
I
you
said
that Allah and
explicitly.
Muhammad.
I said
Hassan,
explicitly.
I did not jump when
At
you were
least be
speaking.
no. At least be
I
honest,
want you to show
Nazarene.
the
At least be
decency. I
honest.
want you to show decency of please muting your mic while I am talking. I know it is difficult for you. At least give some decency of it. In the Battle of Hunain,
He was just trying to get clarification.
when they met their enemies and fought with them, they defeated them and took them captive. Sunan Abu Dawood 2155. And you can see that Brother Jace is posting the screenshot of it in the chat. They met their enemies and fought with them. They defeated them and took them captives. Some of the companions of Apostle of Allah were reluctant to have relations with female captives because of their pagan husbands. So Allah the Exalted sent down the Quranic verse, all married women are forbidden unto you, say, except those, or you say, save those captives whom your right hand possess. So married women, if they are captive, it does not matter. You can go ahead and rape them because no married woman in clear conscience will allow another man to have intercourse with her when her husband is alive. So basically, Allah is allowing rape. Are you okay with that? Bible does not allow that. Bible is very clear on that. When you capture the women, in that particular battle in Deuteronomy chapter 21, you can see that you give time for them to mourn. And if you love her, then you can take her as your wife. It is a marriage relationship. It is an honorable marital relationship that Bible is allowing. How Hassan blatantly lied, and he said it is talking about taking her as a concubine. No, it is not. So Hassan, you have lied again. Again, he mentioned that Islam does not allow of the killing of the children, but Muslims used to do that all over again and again. And then Muhammad used to say that, they are of them. Where does it say that? I will give you the reference. Sahih Muslim, Hadith number 1745b. 1745b. It says like this. Narrated Saad bin Jatama that he said, the messenger of Allah, we killed the children of the polytheists during the night raid. He said, they are from them. They are from them. It does not matter, because they are polytheists. How does it make any difference? Again, one more evidence. It is Sunan Ibn Majah 2839, where it says, it was narrated that Ibn Abbas said, Sa'ab bin Jatama said, the prophet was attacked about the polytheist. The prophet was asked about the polytheists who were attacked at the night. Okay, and what does happen? Sunan Ibn Majah 2839, it says, the Prophet was asked about the polytheists who were attacked at night and their women and children are killed. He said, they are from among them, it does not matter. So Muhammad killed a woman, a lady who had five children. One of the child was lying on the breast. Her name was her name Asma ibn Marwan. Asma ibn Marwan. And Muhammad asked a person, his Sahabi, to go and kill this lady, while the children were there. Muhammad even raped a woman who later on became his wife. Her name was Safiya bint Hunayn. Muhammad even did not give the 3 months of iddah for her. Muhammad raped her from Khaybar to Medina. That is what Muhammad did. Muhammad did not, because in Islam, you have to give the time period of iddah, the waiting period. In Quran chapter 65, verse number 4, it says that you have to give the iddah. Muhammad did not give it. Muhammad did not give the waiting period for Safiya because Muhammad killed her brother, killed her.
Hello, I can't hear anything.
Snippy, am I audible?
Hello, I can't hear
Hassan,
anything.
Can you
can't
guys
hear
hear?
Yeah,
anything?
I
I'm
can
gonna
hear
drop
you.
you back
I can
down
hear
and
you.
bring you
Okay.
back up. Yeah, but if Hassan can't hear, he's got to drop down and come back up.
Okay.
I think that is his issue, Snippy. That I can do this, over and over again. He's having connection issues. That's not my problem, brother Sippy. But I think that we have established the point about the morality of Muhammad, and he has not even touched once on the morality of Apostle Paul, because Paul has been an excellent example.
Not even. Anyway. Okay, I
So he
missed
has.
about 20 seconds.
So you haven't missed much. I was talking about Safiya bint Hunayn. In Safiya's
You mean
situation, you can say
Safiya bint Huway, not Safiya bint Hunayn.
Safiya, and you understand she is the mother of the believers. Muhammad,
Ummahat al-Mu'minin,
basically,
yes. Oh,
yeah,
by the way,
Muhammad
why
did
did you
not even.
skip on the when you're
Mm,
talking about
Hassan,
Ghanima
Hassan, Hassan,
and the battle we were
Hassan,
talking
Hassan.
about collateral
I have
damage?
already mentioned
I
about it.
I
I've
said
already
what you were
mentioned
gonna
about it.
do.
Hassan, I've already mentioned
Why
about it.
didn't you go to
When it comes to your
text?
time, you can give it a.
The next
Hassan,
text.
when it comes to your time in rapid fire, you can take it. Stop it, Hassan. It is embarrassing. It is such a shameful act that you are doing right now, because I know that you are embarrassed of Muhammad. I know it is. That is, every Muslim that I have spoken to so far in TikTok, in Clubhouse, they are embarrassed of Muhammad. That is what is happening. And that's why you're trying to put some dirt on the Bible, but it is not there. You lied about Deuteronomy chapter 21. And I have exposed you right in front of you that it is talking about taking as wife. If you love her, you want to take her as a wife, not as a concubine. So you lied again, because Islam teach you to do lying. Because Quran chapter 3 verse 54 it says, وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ Allah khairul makareen. Allah is the best of the deceivers. If you go and check the Isbab al-Nazul of this, if you go to Al-Wahidi's tafsir, all of there it is saying, it is talking about Allah's deception. If Allah is the best of the deceivers, do you think that I would expect a Muslim to tell something truthful? No, I don't. I don't expect that. So in Safiya's situation, Muhammad did not even give her the time of idda. Muhammad raped her from the from Khaybar to Medina. That is what very clearly is being seen. I will give you the reference. Sahih al-Bukhari 4212, narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet stayed with Safiya bin Huyay for 3 days on the way of Khaybar, where he consummated his marriage. He basically had intercourse with this woman who just became a widow. Her husband was being killed by Muhammad and his followers just right now. Kinana was being killed very brutally, and Muhammad raped Safiya bin Huyay for 3 days on the way to Khyber, where he consummated his marriage with her. Safiya was amongst those who were ordered to use the veil. Muhammad purchased Safiya from from who? F- from another of his Sahabi by giving 7 slaves. Muhammad gave 7 slaves and then purchased Safiya there. Okay, so brother, this is embarrassing. This is not going anywhere, and you are not able to defend Muhammad. Okay, so I would request you, leave Islam, accept Jesus as your personal savior. Jesus is the only way, the truth, and life. There is no other way. Muhammad is a false prophet, and Allah is a false God. And based on Hadith Sahih Bukhari 4848, Allah is going to jump into the hellfire. And then hell will say, Kati Kati, enough, enough. Do you want to go there? Because Quran chapter 19, verse number 71, Allah promises you that Allah will give you hellfire. All the Muslims are destined for hellfire. Do you want to go there? If you want to go there, then go ahead. Follow the path of Muhammad. But if you want to go to heaven, where beautiful Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is saying, I'm going to prepare a house for you. When I will come back, I will take you. In John chapter 14, he is saying that. So I invite you to Jesus, my Lord and my Savior, your Lord and your Savior, the Lord and God of Muhammad and Allah. God bless you, brother.
Hassan, you have the option to go into the rapid fire or respond, whatever you want to do.
Rapid fire. Real quick. When you talked about the issue of collateral damage, why did you do exactly what I told everybody that you were gonna do? Why didn't you go to the next hadith where it was talking about where you go into full context and it said, and the Prophet then forbade the killing of women and children. And that same hadith collection, if you go into sunnah.com, read into the next one. Next one and the one after that it says, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where it says, and the Messenger of Allah forbade the killing of women and children. It's not endorsed. You talk about in speaking against the idea of concubinage. Then
Are we having a rapid fire, or do
why
you want
doesn't
to
the
take a
Bible
rebuttal?
condemn
Are you
Solomon for
taking
having
rebuttal?
300 concubines?
Are
He
you
had
taking
700
rebuttals?
wives and 300 concubines. This is
No, no.
rapid fire,
Are you taking a
Nazarene.
rebuttal? Are you taking a
This
rebuttal
is
right now?
rapid fire.
Oh, it's a rapid fire. So, are you saying that Muhammad was lying? Are you saying Muhammad is lying when he
No,
said that
what you're
I
doing
believe
is you're
in
trying to
thee,
use a
I
logical
believe in
fallacy
thee,
because
and
you
the
think
one?
because of the fact that now
I'm
that
not
we're in the
doing any
state of
logical
rapid fire,
fallacy.
you
I'm
can't weasel your
exposing
way
your
out of it. No,
I'm
we're
exposing
going
your
to the
false
one that you
prophet
mentioned.
here.
Why did you not mention what I said earlier?
Because
Why did
Muhammad
you
used to say
purposely
things.
omit it
Muhammad used
out?
to say things and he would not follow
No,
up.
no, he
Muhammad
didn't.
used to
No, he
say
didn't.
that do not
You're literally
urinate
sitting here
looking at the
trying to
Kaaba.
lie
Muhammad
because of
used
the
to do
fact
the
that, for
opposite.
one,
Muhammad
earlier,
used to
because of the
urinate.
fact that you were trying to use machine gun tactics, you were trying to
Hassan,
stall for as much as you possibly
Hassan,
could regarding that.
Muhammad had double
Let's go
standards.
to that.
That is
Why
why.
did you do? Okay,
Muhammad
why did
had
you
double
omit it?
standards.
Answer the question,
Muhammad
Nazarene.
had double
Why did you omit
standards.
it?
Muhammad would
No,
say
you didn't.
something
No,
and
that
would not do
isn't
that.
that. No, that
Did
isn't a
Muhammad
moral
did
standard.
Muhammad killed Asma bin Marwan? Muhammad asked his
No,
people
why are you
to kill
avoiding the
Asma bin
question?
Marwan.
Answer my question. Stop
Yes,
avoiding.
he did.
Stop avoiding. Answer the question.
Why did
I'm
Muhammad
not
kill
gonna let
Asma
you
bin
run away.
Marwan,
And Nazarene,
the
I'm not
mother
gonna
of
let you run
five
away because
children?
you're very good at doing that.
Did Muhammad
And you
kill
think
an
I
old
don't notice.
lady,
Why did you
Kirfa?
omit? Why did you omit the fact
I
that
did
he
not omit anything. I
explicitly? Yes,
exposed
you
your
did.
false prophet.
Yes, you did.
I
Yes,
am
you did.
exposing false
I
prophet
can give the
Muhammad.
hadith. I will give the.
Yeah, I am exposing false prophet Muhammad by showing you that Muhammad used to say something. Muhammad used to say, don't kill the children and the women. Muhammad exactly used to do the same thing. Muhammad did the same thing with Asma bin Marwan. Muhammad used to say, oh, don't kill women and children. He used to ask his Sahabis to go and kill women and children. He used to do that. Muhammad even asked people to be killed, children to be killed by looking at the pubic hair. Pubic hair. Do you know that? Let me show it to you. Muhammad used to ask, his Sahabas to look at the pubic hair and then kill them. Okay, let me just show it to you so that you would know. Sunan Ibn Majah, volume 3, book number 20, hadith number 2541. I heard Atiya al Karadi say, we were presented to the Messenger of Allah on the day of Qurayda. Those whose pubic hair had grown were killed. Any child, a 10, 12, 13-year-old child who has pubic hair, Muhammad said, look at the pubic hair and kill them. Where is your Prophet Muhammad's morality of not killing children? Muhammad used to ask his Sahabis to, bring down the trousers of children and look if they have pubic hair and then kill them. That's what your false prophet did, you know. That is one reference. Jamia al-Tirmidhi 1584. We were presented to the Messenger of Allah on the day of the Battle of Qurayza. Whoever had pubic hair was killed, and whoever does not was left his way. I was of those who did not have pubic hair, so I was left on my way. We know that children, who are 10, 11, 12, 13-year old, they just start growing having pubic hair. Muhammad used to kill them. What happened, Hassan? Hassan, you cannot run. Your false prophet cannot be defended in front of me. I will decimate him. I will crush his head right under my feet because I am a follower of Jesus. You get it? Muhammad had double standards. That's why when Muhammad says something, Muhammad would not follow up. Muhammad just say, oh, you have killed them? That's fine. They are from among them.
I
Nobody
won't
moved you
Hold
kill
on.
down.
you.
You might have
Oh, hold on.
had.
Oh, Nazarene,
You might
Nazarene.
have
No, I'm
had
not
connection
finished with
issues.
you. I'm not finished
You
with you.
might have
You
had
literally
connection
ran from
issues.
me. I know when you
Did
talked
you
about the verse
see
and
the
Allah is the
hadith
best of
that I have
planners,
brought
you
you
sat and
of
lied
you
about
be
the
care?
verses. You sat and lied about the
Hassan,
verses. You're not going to
stop
run from me.
crying.
You're not going to
Stop
decimate
crying,
anyone.
Hassan.
This is literally
Hassan,
going
stop
to be another
crying.
1453 for
Now all
you.
you are doing is crying.
Because the thing is
Every
this.
single person who is
Let's
listening
talk. Let's
knows
go
that
over
you are
the verse
crying.
of about that you
Stop
explicitly
crying,
misquoted and
Hassan.
openly lied about.
Hassan, stop
Why did you
crying.
replace Makir?
Stop crying.
Why did you say that Makir was for
وَمَكَرُوا
deceiving?
وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ اللَّهُ
Why did
خَيْرُ
you say, oh no,
الْمَاكِرِينَ.
you did. You did.
Makar,
You lied on
makar
the
is
text, you
deception.
lied on the Arabic, you
Makar
lied on
is
the translation,
deception.
you
No, I
lied
have
on the
not. No,
grammar.
I have not.
You don't
I
find
know that it is
anything, for example,
deception.
in
Allah is the
Ajurumiyya,
best of
it doesn't
deceivers. I
mention
will
that.
show you the
Let's
evidence.
bring
I will show you the
Let's bring
evidence.
classical Arabic dictionaries on the matter.
Hassan, I will show you
Let's
the
bring
evidence that
classical.
it is
Okay,
deception.
bring me a
It
classical
is
Arabic
deception.
dictionary that says that makr, the word makr,
Go and check
means to deceive and to
anywhere.
lie.
It is deception.
It
Go
does
and check
not mean
anywhere. Go to Almani.
because the
Go
root
to
word
Almani. I
for
challenge
lie
you.
is
Open
kadib.
challenge for you.
It's
Go to
kadib.
almani.com
No, you're
dictionary,
running
Arabic
away.
dictionary,
Answer the question.
Arabic
Answer the
dictionary.
question. Answer
Yeah, I'm
Nazarene.
going to
Answer the
give it to you.
question. If you can't answer
Tafsir
the question, I'm just
Asrar,
going to assume that you don't know the
Tafsir
answer.
Asrar Al-Asrar, Tafsir
Tafsir, no.
Al-Asrar Al-Asrar. It says, they deceived and Allah deceived. Allah is the best
Read.
of the
What does it say
deceivers.
in the Arabic? Read the Arabic for me.
Makar, deceive. Makar,
Read the
Allah is the best of
Nazarene.
deceivers.
Read the
This
Arabic
is what
for
it
me.
says. Allah is Satan himself manifested
Because
in
you
front
should
of
read
Muhammad.
the you should be able to go through the roots of
Isn't
the
Allah a
word
deceiver?
by
Yes or
word in
no,
the
Hassan?
verse that say that the
My
makr
dear brother
refers
Hassan,
to
stop crying.
deceive.
Yes,
It
Allah
can
is a
use
deceiver.
the word makr can be used
You got
to
2 more minutes on the
Why
outsmart,
rapid
why do
fire.
but it
your
can also be
translators?
used to plan, to come up
No, it
with,
is not
to
plan. I
strategize.
challenge you to show. I
These
challenge
are
you to
some of the
show.
words that that can be
I
used. So if
challenge
you
you to
understand sarf
show
and
one
nahu, that
authentic scholar
makr, what
who
makr
said.
means
I
and how it can
challenge
be
you.
applied.
I
You
challenge
keep
you
saying
to show one authentic
challenge me,
scholar.
but you're running away
I
from
am
my
showing you
question. How about
Tafsir
you answer the
al-Asrar.
question instead of being
Tafsir
cowardly?
al-Asrar. Tafsir
You're talking about
al-Asrar,
tafsir
Kashif al-Asrar is
al-asrar.
saying they deceived and Allah deceived.
Oh,
Allah is the best of the
okay.
deceivers.
I asked you.
Allah
Okay,
is a
bring the
deceiver.
Arabic. Bring
Hassan,
the
go to
Arabic and tafsir
Al-Mani.
al-asrar and
Go to
quote it.
Al-Mani.
Quote it
Go
for
to
me.
Al-Mani. Go to
Nazarene,
Al-Mani.
quote it for me.
Stop crying, Hassan. It is so
Nazarene,
embarrassing
what you're
right
doing
now.
is you're trying.
I'm
What you're
having a
doing is
field
you
day.
instead of actually
I'm
answering
going
it,
to
you're
post
saying stop
everything in
crying.
my YouTube channel. I'm going to post
The
everything
fact
in
of
my
the
YouTube
matter
channel.
is
The
that
way that you are
I know that
crying
what you're
right now.
trying to do.
Hassan, stop crying. You
When I
have deceived.
mentioned the
You have
fact
tried
and
to
when I
deceive
mentioned the
just like
fact of
false prophet
One
Solomon
more
having
Muhammad.
minute, guys.
concubines, you also avoided
Just
that
like
as
false
well.
prophet
Also,
Muhammad
another
who
thing, you
allowed you
talked
to
about the
lie.
hadith of the
Yeah,
issue of
Solomon has
people
been
having
condemned in the
pubic
Bible.
hair. Islamically,
Yes,
the issue with having
Solomon
pubic
has
hair is
been
one of the
condemned
signs of puberty.
already in the Bible.
And
Yeah, what? The
what?
children who had 11, 12 years of children, or 10-year-old, 9-year-old
Nazarene,
children
I didn't
who
hear what
had
you said. You
pubic
said
hair,
something in the Bible.
i- i- Solomon has been already condemned in the Bible. God is not endorsing it. God is not allowing that to, he's not giving license. Solomon did on his
Nazarene,
own. That
do
is
you want
why
us to
Bible
go
very
over the
clearly
Bible?
states that. But
Nazarene, we
Hassan,
can go
why
over the
are you
Bible
embarrassed?
because
Why are you embarrassed of your
it's
false
literally
prophet
talking
Muhammad?
about. Hold on a second. I
You did
specifically
not
said,
address about Zainab's
and you
case.
tried to
You did not
you tried
address
to
about
go around
Safiya's
it.
case.
Why is it?
You are ashamed.
All right, you guys wanted 10 minutes of a rapid fire, and that let it go on. It's over. So if we're going to talk over each other, we're going to go back to the 3 or 6 minute block, whatever you guys. But no, I gave you guys your 10 minutes, and I'm getting a lot of DMs saying they don't want you guys talking over each other. So we can't really follow the conversation that way. So we got to kind of do it so we can understand each other. Ikra, you can decide who can go first and how we proceed from here.
Yeah, my question to them, like, you guys wanna, because it seems like a lot of people are listening here. We want to understand if you guys want to stick. 'Cause we've been here for like about 2 hours. If you guys have any other topic that you guys can speak, so everybody can learn in both side instead of talking over each other. So I'm gonna ask brother Hassan, and then I'm gonna go through the brother Nazarene. What do you say? What do you guys do? You guys want to keep going the same topic, or you guys want to
I
switch
mean,
the topic?
the thing
Let's have
is,
a
I
closing
don't.
now. it
No,
is
I'm gonna
pretty
come
late
to you,
for
Yeah,
Nazrin.
me.
why is he? But
Yeah.
I'm
why are
gonna
you
come to you,
running?
Nazrin.
Why are you running? I was gonna go over more verses, and then we're gonna talk about how the fact that you lied about the grammar,
Okay,
or
hold
we
on.
can go over the fact that where in the next hadith he said the prophet explicitly.
Give me
All
one
right,
second. Give
before
me
we
one
get into
second.
anything, let's establish what we're doing, and then we can go from there. Do you guys want to continue on the debate or switch topics?
I don't mind. There's just
That was a double mute. We're going to go to Hassan first, and then we're going to go Naz. Whatever you guys agree upon, I'm good with. Be unmuted.
okay. All right. So with that,
So,
let's see. So
Slippy.
we're talking about okay, because I was the one that
Yeah.
went first.
Sorry.
So
Uh, is
anyway,
it my time or Hassan's time?
I just wanted a quick
No,
response.
let's give Hassan 3 minutes, and then once that 3 minutes finish, if he go above 3 minutes, whatever he needed, like maybe a little to close, then we're gonna give you the same time. Let's say if
I'm
he
fine
finished
with
three
that.
minutes, you got three. If he finished 4 minutes, you get you 4 minutes too. So we wanna keep it
okay,
like equal, you know.
okay. So when the words are mentioned in the hadith and that he was talking about in regards to the night raids, where the Prophet said, "Huwa minhum," that they are from him. No, they're from amongst them. It's talking about, and it explains in Fath al-Bari, or Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar explains the words they are from him is in regards to the ruling in that specific situation. It does not mean that it is permissible to kill them deliberately. And furthermore, Imam al-Nawawi states in Sharh of Sahih Muslim, scholars unanimously agree that it is prohibited to kill women and children if they are not involved in the fighting. So it's in regards to civilians. But they are involved in the fighting, then the majority of the scholars say that they may be killed. Later on, he goes on to say that these children that were unintentionally killed, who have not reached puberty, will be in paradise. Because of the reason why they are amongst the people of paradise is the fact that they are classified as innocent, regardless of what their religious affiliation may be. And that itself was not a quote. That's just additional stuff on this. Furthermore, there's another hadith which recall it and said, and there was another hadith it is from Sunan al-Bayhaqi, where the prophet himself explicitly forbade it explicitly, and he said, saying to the leaders of the Muslims, it says, "Do not kill children or women or old men." The issue here is that it is forbidden, unless, of course, that they act on a situation that makes them combatants. It is not allowed to kill women and children explicitly. Now, furthermore, I want you guys to go on to the verse where he was talking about saying Allah is the best of deceivers, which it doesn't exist in the Quran, by the way. There's no verse that says Allah is the best of deceivers. He's referring to Surah Al-Anfal, which is the 8th surah, and he's referring to the 30th ayah, and it says, وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. And it says, they planned, but Allah also planned, and Allah is the best of planners. Now, if you go through a variety of translations, whether it be Pictal, whatever it is, right, for those of you who don't speak the language or can't read the text, none of which say deceiver, because the word makr itself does not mean to deceive or to lie. It means to plan, to strategize. You can even use it to organize something. For example, depending on how the way you use it in a sentence. This is the part of the aspects uh, of part of the sciences of sarf and nahu, which make up Arabic grammar. Furthermore, he talks about the idea of Jesus being God, which in and of itself falls into a variety of problems because he believes in an illogical being, which produces a epistemological problem, because he believes that God can be limited and unlimited all at the same time, which that's what it implies. And he also believes that by default that can be knowing and unknowing at the same time, which is also another problem. Which, last time I checked, that would get rid of the idea of God being omniscient. He would have to answer to the fact then, if he holds if he holds to the beliefs in the Council of Chalcedon, which is the Fourth Ecumenical Council, of the Jesus being fully human and fully God, then he would have to hold to the point that God can both be limited and unlimited at the same time, which in and of itself violates the law of non-contradiction, and it violates the law of identity, which in and out of itself would conclude that therefore that the Christian understanding of God is not a logical being in of itself. Not to mention the fact that Jesus himself, according to the New Testament, had to learn things. Last time I checked, for God to be all-knowing, he would have had to have known everything in the first place. And if he's fully human, if Jesus is also fully God, then that would mean that there is a contradiction here, or either that the one who wrote that verse was actually lying. So which one would it be? That would be a series of epistemological questions that our friend Nazarene here would have to answer. I mean, Jesus literally said it himself, "I'm going to my God and to your God." He also said that the Father is greater than I. So there's a variety of these. But how much do we have, Ikano?
Oh, you already exceeded almost 4 minutes, so we're gonna have to
Yeah,
give my other
these are
brother
too
four
short,
minutes.
man.
It's a 3 minutes. Nazarene, would you mind him go to five so you get five
I
minutes?
just
From 3 minutes he started speaking. It's almost 7 minutes now, Ikra. What do you
No, he's
expect? A person who cannot even even stick to a particular time period. He's just ranting over and
Well, there
over
was no
again. He's
organized time period in the beginning. I
Ikra
actually
mentioned three
messaged
minutes.
Snippy regards to
Ikra
have a
mentioned
series of
three
them, and
minutes.
you didn't.
Your friend here, he mentioned 3 minutes for this round. You did not stick to that. This
yeah.
is what happens to Muslim. They have no time adherence. They have no respect.
Brother Nazrin, I was very clear. I say if he exceed whatever he exceeded, you would get that time. Because sometimes when you guys talk about religion, people need time. So everybody, it's not like we are chasing. No, if he go exceeding this time, that's fine. Whatever time he goes, you go the same amount of time. So we don't want to cut people when they want to explain something. Once he finish, if he go 5 minutes, you go 5 minutes. If you don't finish in 5 minutes, you finish in 10 minutes. That's fine. The next time he get a 10 minutes. So we trying to keep it like balance. Sometimes people want to get their point across. We want to allow them to do it. If you come to your turn, if you need more time, no problem. We'll let you go.
He did state that at the beginning of this round. Sorry if you missed that. Go ahead, Nazarene.
Yeah, sorry. I was muted, so I could not even pick up the mic. Did you guys hear how he is shifting from one goal to another, to another, to another? Now he wants to have a debate on who is God and the epistemology and things like that of God. That is not the topic. The topic is very clear. The topic is the morality of Muhammad and Apostle Paul. He was not even able to touch it. He could not touch it because he is ashamed of his own prophet. I know. Usually Muslims are very ashamed of their own prophet. Now, did you see how he lied? He said, "Wa makarin." Ya Allahu khairul makarin in Quran chapter 3, verse number 54. It is talking about planner. No, it is not. I want my audience to go and check the chat. Go and check the chat. My dear brothers have posted from the Arabic dictionary the word makarin. that is being used in Quran chapter 3, verse number 54. Makareen. What does it say? Dear brothers, my fellow Muslims, this is how Muslims deceive people, because Allah is the best of the deceiver. If you see in the definition, this is an Arabic dictionary that I have posted. I have translated it into English. If you can see, go to the link also. Brother Jace is going to post the link of almani.com. What does it say? It says very clearly, Makareen, the cunning ones. In the comprehensive dictionary of meaning, Arabic dictionary, makara, he deceived. He deceived. Allah is a deceiver. It was being always used in majority of the sense, makar, makareen, makar, all of these situations where it is showing that the person is a deceiver in the negative sense. It has never been used. This word is not being used in a positive sense, like planning or having a discussion or things like that. No, it's not. Allah is the deceiver. And this is why one of the Sahaba of Muhammad, once Muhammad sent one of his Sahaba to a battle. And then this Sahaba was going for a battle with Ali. And this Sahaba started crying. And then the people around him asked him, "Why are you crying?" And he said, "I don't have much love for myself, or I have love for, for the end. But I have heard Prophet Muhammad reciting a particular Quran verse. And in that particular Quran verse, it says that Allah will do what? Allah will send all of the Muslims down to hellfire. In Quran, chapter 19, which is Surah Al-Maryam, verse number 71. The Sahaba is reminded of that particular verse, and he is saying that, "Oh, I cannot trust Allah because Allah will send me to hellfire. If Allah will send me to hellfire, then how am I going to come out?" Hassan, your Allah is guaranteeing you hellfire in Quran chapter 19, verse number 71. All of the tafsirs, if you read the tafsir, it will very clearly say that Allah will send the Muslims down to the hellfire. Then whoever Allah chooses, he can bring out. Whoever Allah chooses, he can leave. Muslims are going to hellfire. And that is what the Quran is saying. If you don't agree with the Quran, that is your problem. It is not my problem. I will read the reference for you, Hassan. Allah is the best of the deceivers, and Allah is going to deceive. Because Abu Bakr also knew that Allah is a deceiver. Abu Bakr said, "If my one leg is inside the Jannah and one leg is outside, I cannot trust the makar of Allah. I cannot trust the deception of Allah, because Allah will deceive." Did you guys see in the chat box how I have posted the references of Allah is deceiver? See, if you scroll down in that particular screenshot, you can see the Quranic verse is being quoted. It says, Allah deceived. I'm not using the holy name of God there, because Allah is not God. I'm saying Allah deceived the sinners. Allah deceived the sinners. He punished him for his deceit, or gave him respite and enables him to have the world. Allah is a deceiver. This is taken from their own Arabic text. And I will also quote how Allah is going to deceive them, and Allah is going to send people like Hassan into the hellfire. Quran chapter 19, verse number 71 and 72. It very clearly says in Al-Tabari's volume 8, page number 152, where one of the Sahaba, Ibn Rawaba, was so afraid that he was afraid Allah is going to send people to hellfire. Now see how when he keeps on attacking the Bible, he cannot bring in any genuine argument of the morality or any immorality in the Bible. He is quoting that, Solomon had 700 concubines or 300 wives and so on and so forth. Does the Bible allow it? It does not. Bible is very clear from the start. For one man, one woman. Bible does not endorse to that. Bible does not give a license to go ahead and have n number of concubines or things like that. People have done that, yes. God did not approve of it. If you see in the life of David also, or if you see in the life of Solomon also, there were times when they have done things which God does not allow. In the Bible, it's very clear. The king should not have multiple wives. In the Old Testament, you can see the king should not have multiple wives. Which Solomon are you talking about? The Solomon in your text, in your Quran, is not the Solomon that is in the Bible. The Solomon that you have in one of the verses, Solomon basically, when he died, he held on to a stick for over an year. And the people around him had no idea that Solomon, the Nabi, the Sulaiman, the Nabi, is dead. And then when the termites ate the stick, that is when he fell down, and people realized, oh, he's dead. It's such a nonsense, things which are narrated in the Quran, which you believe. I don't believe that. See how, my dear brothers, how he is switching the goalpost, how he is switching, taking the topic away from the morality of the Muhammad to things like, I have to prove now about Jesus, about the God of the Bible, about the epistemology of the God of the Bible, and things like that. That is not the topic. We can have another topic someday, but not today. Okay? Then you would have to explain how Allah has two right hands. He does not have a left hand. What happened to him? Was he handicapped? Allah has one shin. He has one leg. And with one leg, Allah is going to jump into hellfire. In Quran, chapter number 50, verse number 30, where the hellfire is calling out to Allah, Allah, are there any more to come? And then in Sahih al-Bukhari, 48, 48, 48, 49, you can see that Allah is, your God, is finally jumping into the hellfire. Because a deity with one leg can only jump. Deity cannot walk. Allah only have one leg. It is very clearly saying that in the end, in the day of judgment, Allah's shin will be revealed. Allah will basically lift up his clothes and show his shin. And then people will be asked to do prostration. And there will be certain people who will not be able to do prostration. Certain people will be able to do prostration. So Allah's body parts and Allah's arsh, we will talk later. The handicapped God that you worship, we will talk later. That is not the topic. The topic here is Muhammad's morality. Muhammad having, illicit, thoughts and lusting after his own adopted son's wife. That is the morality of Muhammad. And taking Zainab as his own wife. Muhammad's morality about, raping Safiya bin Huyay on the way from Khyber to Medina without even giving her the 3 months of idda, the waiting period, and basically molesting her. One of the Sahaba was standing outside with a sword. Ayub was standing outside with a sword because he was afraid that Safiya might kill Muhammad in the night, in the sleep. When Muhammad comes out after raping Safiya, Muhammad comes out, and then Muhammad see, this guy is standing outside. Muhammad asks, why are you standing outside? So this guy is saying, Ibn Ayyub is saying that, oh, I have killed Safiya's brother, father, and husband. I am afraid that she might do something to you. Because the Sahaba knew that when Muhammad is raping this woman, Safiya, and when Muhammad sleep after all the sexual intercourse, this lady is going to get up in the middle of the night and probably would, plunge, Muhammad's dagger or Muhammad's knife into the heart of Muhammad. But thankfully she did not do it. So Muhammad lived a little bit longer, and then eventually he died by eating the poison from Khyber. Because it happened in Khyber, Muhammad ate the lamb, the meat lamb from Khyber, which had poison, which was being presented by a Jewish lady. And for 3 years, he had such a horrible life. And he used to say that I feel as if my aorta is being cut off. Because exactly how Quran says that if he lies anything about us, then we will catch hold of his hand and then we will cut off his aorta, which basically proves Quran itself is proving Muhammad is a false prophet. Quran, Surat Al-Haqq 69, verse number 44, 45, 46, it says, and if he, Muhammad, had forged a false saying concerning us, we will surely have seized him by his right hand, and then certainly have cut off his life artery, aorta. That is how exactly Muhammad died. Sahih al-Bukhari 44:28, it says, the Prophet in his ailment in which he died used to say, "Oh Aisha, I feel the pain caused by the food I ate at Khaybar, and at this time I feel as if my aorta is being cut off from that poison." So false
Yeah,
Prophet Muhammad died in such a manner.
Brother Nazarene, we go up to like 13 minutes. How many more minutes you need so we have
Yeah,
an
I am
idea
done. So
when you can finish?
that's all I wanted to say. Thank you. But let's have
Okay,
a final closing, 5 minutes each, and then we can
no,
schedule
you go,
something else some other day.
you go 13 minutes. Let's give Hassan time to go ahead and finish. So you guys, both of you guys,
Go
do the
ahead.
closing.
We are going
So
to have a closing.
yeah, Hassan, he went up to 13 minutes. So if you can get everything summed up before 13 minutes, that's perfect. If you need time to before, that's fine. So you guys can do closing. If you guys want to schedule another debate and choose the topic, and I think that'll be perfect. Because seem like we have a good debate here, very respectful, and then I think thank you for guys to be here and then be
We
respectful.
got to give them equal time to respond to that. You said a whole lot, and I do appreciate it. I really do.
Hmm? Hello?
Yeah, Hassan, you have the mic now. You can go ahead to rebuttal, so we can after that, then we can get the closing.
So, okay. So the fact of the matter is, it's not changing the goalposts, it's actually addressing the points that were mentioned. I talked about the issue of omniscience and the issue and the point of God. You claiming that he's both fully human and fully God, but you're unable to even answer that because you don't even understand your own epistemology when it comes to that. But yet you try to claim that I'm, what is it, changing the goalpost. I think you need to read a dictionary and understand what a changing the goal what a goalpost fallacy is. If it's on the same topic, if it's addressing a point that somebody else made, then by default it's not a changing the goalpost fallacy. Also, further to that, I don't understand what your obsession is with trying to make interpretations of things that aren't there. There's nowhere within the Sunnah, even in the citations that you mentioned, because the fact of the matter is what you're trying to do is you're trying to play a very common old school tactic of where you'll take a bunch of verses, you'll cite them, but you won't go out of the way to quote them. You're doing it in the fact of the matter is due to the fact that there's very little time. How about we go through those verses one by one and we break them down? Now, regarding the issue of makr, right? You didn't go over the issue of sarf and nahu, because the word itself, the meaning of the word changes entirely depending on where it is placed in context. That's Arabic as a whole. So using al-ma'ani without understanding this is laughable to say the least. At the same time, by your logic, we could say that it referred to that Allah being the best of being read, which no one who understands grammar would understand that verse to say that. So, honestly, my constituent would have to concede on that matter, because I don't think you've actually bothered to look deeply into that page on almaani.com, because it literally explains that. But anyway, going on to that issue, when we're talking about the marriage between the Prophet and Safiya, there was no raping, there wasn't any issue of even forced intercourse. It simply doesn't exist. But what he's going to try to do, because of the fact that he doesn't want to go through these things one by one, which is one of the reasons why he backed out of the crossfire, because of the fact when I pressed him on things, he wasn't able to answer them. He would try to run away and run away and run away and run away, which it doesn't show courageousness. It just shows the type of person you are. And so, that being said, it's a display of intellectual dishonesty. I asked you to bring a single translation, and you failed to do so. My interlocutor failed to bring a single translation, within, and there's hundreds, possibly hundreds of English translations where it says, "And Allah is the best of deceivers." So going into that, it displays something that's referred to in Islamic terminology called tadlis, deception or omission. Furthermore, I would like to ask Nazarene if you can find any verse, because you failed to mention the fact that yes, the Prophet ﷺ did kill Safiya's family members. It was a war. So yes, there was going to be war. And you also failed to mention the fact of what led to the situation of Khaybar. You failed to mention that. You failed to mention what was the cause that led to Ma'arakat al-Khaybar and the situation of the expulsion and the mass executions of Banu Qurayza, and the one who carried it out being Sa'd bin Mu'adh. And by the way, for those of you who are interested in learning about this, you can go through Kitab al-Bidayah wal-Nihaya, and also Zad al-Ma'ad goes into both of these. Also, there's other smaller books of Sirah, but they don't go into as much detail as Bidayah wal-Nihaya or Zad al-Ma'ad on this matter. As a matter of fact, he asked Safiya for her hand when it came to the issue of marriage. Now, furthermore, he was talking about the situation of chapter 19, verse 71. It's not talking about Muslims going to hell. It's talking about something called the Sirat. But he failed to bring the explanation of chapter 19, verse 71. And as said in Sharh Riyadh al-Salihin, it says, the Sirat is a bridge that will be set up over the hellfire. It is narrower than a hair and sharper than a sword. People will pass over it according to their deeds. Whoever used to hasten to do good deeds in this world will pass over the Sirat. Whoever was slow to do good deeds, and whoever used to mix righteous deeds with bad deeds, and his bad deeds were not forgiven by Allah, may slip into the fire. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Yes, we don't hold the view that just because you're a Muslim, you will be held completely unaccountable in regards to what you do. So yes, there will be Muslims that will go to hell. This is something that is known. Now, their duration as to how long they will go to hell, it depends on the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if, for example, the individuals like Nazarene, Jace, Sam, if they were to die tomorrow, they would be in hell for eternity. There would be no chance of that. Or anyone who knows about Islam and arrogantly opposes it. So now when it comes into this, I don't understand why he takes pleasure in trying to dismiss these things. And if furthermore, it talks about this in Sahih al-Bukhari, the chapter 7, section 7439, Sahih Muslim, hadith number 183 as well, when it comes to the issue of the Sirat. And it talks about what is the Sirat. حدثنا عن أبو سعيد الخضري رضي الله عنه said in a hadith, the Sirat will be laid across hell, and we said, Ya Rasulullah, what is the Sirat? He said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it is a slippery bridge of which there are clamps and hooks and hook-like thorns that are wide on the side of the narrow on one side and narrow on the other at the other end, and have bent ends. A plant which thorns are found in Najd and is called al-Sa'dan. And some of the believers will cross the bridge as quickly as a wink of an eye, others as quick as lightning, a strong wind, fast horses, or she-camels. So some will be safe without any harm. Some will be safe after reaching some scratches, and some will fall into hell. The last person will cross the bridge by being dragged over it. As also added within Muslim, and with Abu Sa'id radiallahu anhu, he said, I heard that the Sirat is narrower than a hair and sharper than a sword. And Nawawi goes into further detail, saying the words, quote, some will be safe without any harm, meaning that they will fall into three categories. One will be safe without experiencing any harm at all. Another category, they will be scratched or scarred, then released and will be saved. And a third will be snatched and thrown into the fire of hell. And you find this in Sharh al-Nawawi ala Muslim, section 3, number 29. And the same thing, and Sheikh Muhammad bin Salih ibn Uthaymeen also says and goes on further to this. So no, the understanding of that verse has nothing to do with saying that every Muslim will go to hell. This is just a common tactic employed that a lot of deceitful Christian missionaries like Nazarene use to try to put in a narrative. Because of the fact that and the best part about this is there'd be no way for them to even avoid or weasel this way out of it, because they're all in agreement on this. Even the Shia are in agreement on this, by the way, which they aren't even an authority for me. And something else I need to mention a little bit earlier, we was talking about that the Jews aren't an authority for him. Cool. But I mentioned that simply because of the fact of authorities on the understanding of the Old Testament. Because of
Hassan,
the fact, yeah,
uh, yeah, your time's up, but are we going to do a little bit of ending statements from each of
ending
you?
statements.
Can I do a
Right.
closing and
So,
then I will take my time?
and then I'm going to open it up and let people come up and ask questions and add in afterwards. So we're going to do, what, 5 minutes each? You guys both agree with that, or is that good?
I don't care.
Can I do a closing and then I will take my closing?
Yeah. Hassan, he wants you to
I'll
go
let
first
him go
on your.
because I was the one to speak first.
I
So it
don't.
would be
I don't
fair.
care who goes first. So
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So Hassan, have you
Uh,
done your closing?
go ahead. Speak. You got the five
No,
minutes,
no,
man.
I'm saying, have you done your closing? Do it and take your closing.
No. How about you go ahead and do your closing, man?
No, why don't you want to do the closing?
We're
hey,
alternating. Either way, we're still gonna do the closing.
A quick question:
Why are you not?
who did the
Why are
opening?
you why are you scared about not
Why
having the
why
last
don't you
word,
want to? Why
Nazarene?
don't you want to take the closing?
Na- Nazarene,
Go ahead and do your closing statement because it's called alternation.
Didn't he started off the debate?
Okay, so none of you want to take the closing first?
No, no, he Snippy. Who started off the debate?
He's afraid to do the
honestly,
closing.
we've been going for hours.
Snippy.
I
It
don't
wasn't
remember.
he? Yeah.
I'll be
So he
honest.
was the
I
one,
don't
didn't
remember.
he?
So
No, I remember. I remember how he
I was
started.
the
Like,
last one. Yeah, I was the last one
I
to.
believe I remember when he started. Our brother Nazarene was the one who introduced it because we was not supposed to do debate because there was a time, but the one
Yeah, Nazarene
Nazarene,
wanted to debate anyway.
yeah. So then he was say he want to debate, and then the topic just jump in, and then from there we
Then
take over.
didn't he started?
No, I think
this is
we
what
was
we're
I
gonna
don't
do.
remember if I did or
Wait.
not, so I won't make a claim that I did or
Yeah.
didn't.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
This is what we're gonna do because I'm gonna
It
open
was
this up.
so disorganized, but
Yeah.
Let me
And
let
again,
me do a
we'll
closing
do
then.
better
I'll do
next
the
time.
closing.
We're working on it. This is what we're
Snippy,
gonna
give me
do.
5 minutes then. Give me five
Yeah.
minutes.
Go
I'll
go
do the
ahead.
closing.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. Well, anyway, Hassan, it was nice talking to you, brother. I'm glad that you came. At least some Muslims came in. Usually Muslims run away from debates when they see the morality of Muhammad. But at least you had the courage to defend somebody who cannot be defended. We know that in the public, when Muhammad as a character is presented, people will basically spit on him if they look at his life. But you, as a Muslim, had the courage to defend Muhammad. And that's great. That's awesome. Wonderful. The other thing that he mentioned was that people like me, Jays or Warrior, we're going to hell based on Islam. That's so funny. Hassan, I think you have never read your book. I think you don't even care about your book. Do you know even what does your book say? Have you ever read your books? Tell me, if you would have read your books in Quran, it is very clear that in Quran chapter 5, verse number 46, it says, and on their footsteps we sent Isa, son of Miriam, confirming the Torah and that had been before him. Okay. So Allah is confirming the Torah and Allah is also confirming the Injil. And not just there. Allah is not even stopping there. Allah is going a little bit further more. What is Allah saying? In Quran chapter 5, I think it is verse number 47, it says that, oh, the book of people of the Injil, and let me just pull that particular portion so that I do not misquote anything. Let me pull up Quran chapter 5, Surat Al-Ma'idah. Okay, Surat Al-Ma'idah, verse number 47, and it will decimate every argument that you're going to bring against the Christians. Verse number 47. Listen to this very carefully, Hassan. Don't ever say that Christians will go to hell, because your Allah is saying that they are going to go to heaven if they are going to hold on to the gospel. Let the followers of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed therein. We don't even have to listen to false prophet Muhammad. We don't even have to read the Quran. Because your Allah is saying, let the followers of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed therein, in the gospel. What? In the gospel, Jesus is the living God, the God of Muhammad, under whose feet Muhammad is. Muhammad will be judged by Jesus, the Almighty God, and then Muhammad will be casted into hellfire. Hassan, do you want to go with Muhammad? Do you want to go? Quran says in Surah Al-Ma'idah 5, verse number 47, says, let the followers of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed therein, and those who do not judge by what Allah has revealed are transgressors. So Allah is basically saying, if Christians do not follow the gospel, then they are transgressors. If we follow the gospel, we don't have these kind of nonsense about first going into the hellfire and then coming out and then walking through this, Sirat, the bridge of Sirat and all of that. Bridge of Sirat is not even there in the Quran. It's not there. We have a clear confirmation where we are going. In John chapter 14, Jesus, the Lord Almighty, your God and the God of Muhammad, is very clearly saying, John chapter 14, verse number 1, it says, let not your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many mansions. If not, I would have told you, because I go to prepare a place for you. And if I shall go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am, you also be. So Jesus is giving us clear confirmation. Muhammad had no idea where he is going. And that is why Muhammad's Sahabas were so afraid that they used to think that, they have no escape from hellfire.
That
Do you think the Sahabas had no idea about how many? How many minutes?
I wasn't paying
So,
attention, and you went over a little bit. So we'll give him
okay,
an extra
so
minute. If
I'll
you
just
want to just
close in.
finish up
Yeah,
the.
I'll just close in one. I'll just close in 1 minute. So, are you saying the Sahabas had no idea about walking through the bridge of Sirat? They had clear understanding that Muslims will be sent to hellfire based on Tabari, volume 8, page number 152, and all of the tafsirs that Brother Jace has posted, which clearly says that Muslims will be sent to hellfire. So I invite you, Brother Hassan, to come to Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior of you and all the Muslims here, because Muhammad is going to have a bad time in hell based on the scripture. Thank you so much, Brother Stimpy, for a wonderful host, and Ikra, thank you for giving me this time. So I'm going to close it with the final words. Anybody who is listening to me, come to Jesus. Jesus is the only way, the truth, and life. No one comes to the Father except through Jesus. We know that in Quran it says Allah is Al-Awwal wa Al-Akhir, the first and the last. Jesus in Revelation says, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last. So come to Jesus. That's all that I want to say, and I would rest my mic. God bless you all.
All right. In fairness, he gets 6 minutes because we went over a little bit. Is he still? Yeah, he's still there. Okay.
All right. So, anyway, aside from that, all right, going on to that, if we're talking about, from my statements, from our previous, from our interlocutor here, okay, I've noticed time and time again, and I predicted it how it was going to go down, that he was going to use various fallacious talking points. He was going to admit things out. Just like, for example, he admitted the situation with Sirat, which he didn't even bother to actually address. Furthermore, when we're talking about the issue of the so-called endorsement of the previous scriptures, it's not actually saying that the current text is valid as of today. No no that is not a belief that is held by anyone except for Christian missionaries. That being said, though, it's not surprising that people such as Mr. Nazarene here would resort to those types of things. I mean, for one, let's not forget, or did you forget about chapter 5, verses 12 to 13, where it talks about, and Allah had already taken a covenant with the children of Israel, and we delegated them from amongst the 12 leaders, and it said, and Allah said, quote, I am with you if you establish prayer, give zakah, and believe in my messengers and support them and loan Allah a goodly loan. I will surely remove you from your misdeeds and admit you to the gardens beneath which rivers flow. But if you disbelievers after that is certainly strayed from the soundness of the way, so for their breaking of the covenant, we cursed them and made their hearts hard. They distort the words from their proper usages and forgotten a portion of that which they were reminded. And you will still observe deceit among them, except for a few of them, but pardon them and overlook their misdeeds, and indeed Allah loves the doers of good. Furthermore, if we go into Surah Al-Baqarah, it actually talks about furthermore in the fact of the corruption of previous scriptures, where it says, there's among them a section who distort the book with their tongues, and as they read, you would think it is a part of the book, but is no part of the book. And they say that is from Allah, but it is not from Allah. It is they who tell a lie against Allah, and they know it. This is from Surah Al-Imran, chapter 78, and from Surah Al-Baqarah it says, woe to those who write the book with their own hands and then say, quote, this is from Allah, and to traffic for it with a miserable price. Woe to them for what their hands do write and for the gain that they make thereby. And this is from Al-Baqarah, and this is from the 75th ayah, and it goes all the way into the 79th ayah. Furthermore, when it came to the issue of salvation, the Quran refers that the Prophet ﷺ would be given salvation in the chapter of Al-Kawthar, which is one of the last chapters revealed in the Quran, by the way, where it says, Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar, which means, for indeed we have given you abundance. Al-Kawthar is a
Hassan,
type of tree
if you could
in Jannah.
wrap it up, that would be great. We're a little bit over
Yes.
time, which I don't mind.
This
Thank you. No,
idea.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. This idea of saying that they had no idea that they were going to paradise or the hellfire. Yes, in the case of the Sahaba, they did not know. In the case for the Prophet towards the end of his life, and we have multiple narrations that speak about this, and if you look into the tafsir of Surah Al-Kawthar, it talks about it. And towards the end of his life, he actually knew. Furthermore, he mentioned that thing about the vein being cut, which, if you actually read the Arabic, it refers, the word used for the aorta is watin. Not refer, and the wording in the hadith itself, when he was on his deathbed, is a different wording in Arabic for it. Plus, if he were to die from the poison, then why did it take 3 years when it killed everyone else except for him? These things are means of reaching. It's a means of deceit. It's a means of fallacious reasoning, and so on and so forth. But that being said, I appreciate you not trying to run, but your answers and responses were quite predictable. Anyway, with that, I thank the Muslims for coming and the non-Muslims for coming to seemingly this disorganized discussion. Thank you.
Hey, we can do a more structured one on Friday. You guys wanted to do it tonight. So.
I already told you what
Wait.
the format.
Yeah, I know, and I get that. We'll have, like I said, you want to do one Friday, we'll set it up Friday with that format. I'll find if Nazarene doesn't want to stick to those, I will find somebody who's willing to stick to those, but we'll be strict to those rules. I got a deep roster when it comes to Christians that want to debate, so we'll be good. First of all,
Yeah, I really.
I want to thank everybody for coming. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep this space open, probably for another couple hours, 3, 4 if you're lucky, at least 2 more hours. But I want to get to some people that's been listening the whole time and wants to chime in. Our first go around, anybody who wants to speak, go ahead and request. We're going to keep it to like 3 to 5 minutes per person, so we can at least get around the room and we can actually get to know everybody else in here, and we can go a little bit longer once everybody has a chance to go ahead and say their thoughts. If you want to go ahead and say whatever you want to say, and then I think the first person we're going to go to is one witness after Ikra gets his closing statement.
Oh, no, we really appreciate it. Keep the debate, civil. I think it's always best way to run it that way, so we don't have a, unfortunately, I know people want to jump in and they want to give their take on, they want to defend some position, but since we have one brother Muslim here, so we decided, so if he was like a two brothers Muslim who wants to help each other, then we're gonna have a two Christian as speaker, so we don't have other people interfere in the debate. So we want to keep it like a fair, and the civil. I think, I believe we did a good job so far because we make sure other people don't interject. So Nazrin have all the time he need to speak, and our brother Hassan have all the time he speak. If next time Nazrin want to bring someone as like a co-speaker. Brother Hassan want to come back with the co-speaker, then we're gonna have four speaker, and then we're gonna just go ahead and run the debate that way, so we can keep it civil and not talking over each other. And yeah, I thank everybody who, even though they did not get the time to speak, I appreciate that they stay, listen and learn. You know, thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. Go ahead, one witness. I know you've been patiently waiting. Thank you very much.
Hi, guys. Hope you guys are well tonight. I've been in and out and popped in a couple times. I realized after coming in the first time, a few minutes in, that it was just a debate and not really a discussion. But thanks for opening up the floor. It's good to talk to you guys. Um, it seemed civil from a bird's eye perspective, what little I saw. So I was glad to see that. Um, I did hear there at the tail end, I believe it was Hassan mentioning the covenant and the breaking of it, and then was it Hassan or was it Ikra? Yeah, it was
That
Hassan.
was
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Um,
I was
and then
quoting
the
a verse from the
response being,
Quran.
yeah, yeah. Um, and excuse me. Then of course the response to that being that of cursing. If was that what it said? Am I
Yeah,
correct
that is,
about
yeah,
that?
that they became mana'in. Yeah.
They, the other people, yeah, the outsiders, sure, yeah. Um, as it pertains to covenant and the covenant, with the placement of a definite article there in front of the word covenant. The covenant was established from and in the beginning. Indeed, there's one, the covenant. Uh, and then that is witnessed by, for instance, covenant of the pieces, covenant of salt, the covenant of uh, uh, the Davidic covenant, even a covenant with the day and the night, a covenant with seed time and harvest. Times and seasons that are scheduled from the beginning and in the beginning, so that none of us would be taken aback. Not Muslims, not Jews, not Christians. Of course, none of those things existed in the beginning. And so we've been given lines of demarcation to help us delineate and discern deception. And that, of course, from a good father in heaven, a father that loves us and from whom comes every good gift. To be clear, every good gift, whether that be the good gift of day or the good gift of those luminaries that mark the times and the seasons within their respective domains of day and night, and in that order, that's again day first and night second. Indeed, day above and night below. There is absolutely nothing higher than light and nothing lower than darkness, as these foundations of primordial divisions were made in the beginning by our Father. And so, knowing that these divisions and schisms were made before we got here to be confused about it, our Father establishes dominion and rule, as you keenly are aware, with Adam, and made after, of course, on a third day after the fourth day, when our Father made the divisions and the luminaries in the heavens. Those days are epochs. They're not 24-hour cycles. Indeed, our Father separated the day from the night in the beginning, and that according to cycles of sevens. And now we walk in those. And so, um, as it pertains to religion, which would spring up, albeit later, um, religion that springs up after a covenant is made is certainly subject to the terms of the covenant. And so, if, for instance, we have a promise to David that is likened unto day and night, well, to be clear, day and night have not ceased to appear in their seasons, except where it pertains to the wicked, who would confound them and confuse them, putting the one over the other, or even the latter before the former. So, knowing that we have this clear line of demarcation that is stretched from the east to the west, or a straight plumb line from the north to the south, that helps us understand whether the way in which we are walking is in fact a crooked path. Not to mention the luminaries in the heavens, which alter their courses. They run their race. They're swift in doing so. And they are ordered according to our Father's uh, divine creation. And so, when we look at a religion that would seek to that's the best way to figure that out, because it's something we're all subject to, because it is, they are above us and we are beneath them. And so, for instance, when the Father established a covenant for dominion over Haaretz, the land, he established that before Muhammad, indeed before Judaism, Christianity, or any of the confounded Abrahamic religions, through a priesthood ship. Those two offices, one mediating above the other, and the one coming before the other, the priesthood coming before the kingship. Even as heaven is higher than the earth, so too that priesthood is higher than the kingship. He did that according to hands being laid upon the said priesthood, familial priesthood, the priesthood family and the kingship family, both right and left. And so the right hand, of course, was laid on the priesthood through Levi, and the left hand, Isaac, laid on uh, Judah for the kingship. Now that is an eternal covenant of peace, even an everlasting priesthood that was not and is not abrogated, neither is it truncated. So when we find ourselves walking in a way that is contrary to those two principles, you can bet we have gone astray, indeed have taken a crooked path. So even as the little luminary, the lesser luminary, the moon, testifies of that crooked path with its shifting. And my plane here in just a second, but it's for this reason that we have the good admonition, albeit before Islam and before bending and twisting from Christianity or even diasporic Judaism, that we have a Father of
One
lights.
witness, real quick,
I'm not done. I said I'll land my plane in 30 seconds, okay?
because I
Thank you
have
kindly.
to go. I
Hassan,
don't have
I know. Let me land my
six
plane
hours.
kindly.
I don't have six
Uh,
hours, man.
totally respectable, brother. I got 30 seconds. So our Father of lights in the heavens told us in no uncertain terms that every good gift comes down from him, namely the Father of lights, and in whom, him, namely, there is neither shadow of turning. I'm hoping you're going to go outside and look up at the lesser luminary as it wanes. In him there is neither shadow of turning nor variation. The word in the Greek is the word phases or orbits, or, as in fickleness, to be shady, to be clear. And so he assigned that role to the lesser luminary to tell us what not to do, brother, what not to seek out as a head, and namely, uh, appropriately, albeit, placed over that one a greater luminary, a greater light that governs over those who walk in the light. Not the greatest of the lights. The Father of lights is the greatest of lights. And so, as it pertains to the kingship and the priesthood, that's a good way to walk. And so, if a prophet, even with the convoluted definite article placed before his name, should arise and deceive
30
later,
seconds.
well, we have a good
Stop.
line of we have a good line of demarcation for that.
God's
I don't
sakes,
mind stepping out
witness.
either.
Learn how to
I
read the
waited for
room, bro. Seriously.
Jane. I waited for 30 minutes quietly in the
We
silence
didn't
without
wait through this
interrupting
whole
any
debate
of
just to
you.
listen to you lecture. For God's
Jane,
sakes.
calm down. Listen,
Like, you're not
Okay,
even respecting
Jane.
I
anyone's
get, I,
time
I
here.
get
I
it.
don't have all day. I made this clear earlier.
Jane.
I get it. Let's let him finish, and then we'll let Hassan respond, and then we'll go to Jane.
Jane, I'm done. You do well to heed what I told you. That it is living water to be sure. Thank you
Go
kindly.
ahead, Hassan.
I mean, his conversation is completely irrelevant to me. It's just essentially drawn out gobbledygook. I don't have 15 minutes to listen to every single Q&A. Like, I already made this clear in the beginning. And the fact that that was not respected is
Actually, I didn't mean to cut you off.
it's very
I
let's just say it's disappointing to say the
Yeah, I
least.
thought like we really thought you guys, because you guys did a good job. I didn't even know you guys were gonna. I thought you guys gonna just take a break, so the state's gonna stay open to other people to have their
Well,
understanding.
I missed a lot of things because of this, and I don't. It's not even commendable.
I did too.
Well, I just wanted to say I thought that was a great debate, and thank you guys so much for providing that. I think that was awesome. I think you both did a really good job. Just the fact that you're able to get together and do this, I think it's awesome. Um,
It was
I
disorganized,
don't know.
Jane.
I think they did a pretty good job. I think you guys were awesome. And it's never going to be perfect to debate. But I think all things considered, you guys both did really well. So I appreciate that.
It was a
Um,
sprint. I
but
wanted a
especially
marathon.
Nazarene, I'm very impressed, and I really hope you'll add me so that I can join your groups, your spaces, and so that I can be able to invite you as well. And I don't know if you have a Telegram or not, but I share a Telegram with several people that are involved in debating Islam, and we spread materials on there. We have like a whole library of resources in our Telegram of PDFs and stuff. And so, if you have a Telegram, I would love to share that with you. So, just wanted to say that.
If I may ask,
Sister Jane,
Jane.
are you in the Telegram group with Rob, Christian, and Avery and other? Because I'm part of that group already. So are you in that part? In that Telegram group?
No, I don't know about that group.
Well, we have a group of Avery, God Logic, doing excellent work. God Logic and Avery, Rob Christian.
If you
There
guys
is
don't, if you guys don't mind, I
King
know
Self and
Hassan.
so on.
If you guys
Yeah.
don't mind, I know Hassan
So
wants to
Snippy,
leave
I'm
soon.
going to take a leave. Snippy,
Okay,
I'm
yes, just
also
please
going to
add
leave.
me, and then if you could possibly send me the link if you don't mind, and I'll send you the link to mine as well.
Sure, sister. Thank you for giving me time, Snippy, for wonderful work that you guys have done. I'm going to take a leave. It's going to be really late. I have another session on TikTok, but God bless you guys. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Go ahead, Hassan, if you want to respond.
There's nothing to respond about. It's not really a Q&A. Aside from the fact, I would just ask Jane Doe, what's your epistemological worldview?
Oh, I'm Christian. I'm a pretty new Christian.
Right.
Then, okay, then the issue would be then, if that's the case, then why do you guys use modernistic arguments? I don't understand.
What's modernistic? Like, what do you mean? Like, what?
Well, in terms of the moral positions that you guys use are more like existentialist in nature, rather than moral objectivity.
Well, I think being against pedophilia is objective, and it's not even like a moral thing necessarily. I think it's scientifically objective fact, like
What's
that
scientific?
pedophilia is detrimental to society, to individuals.
I'm not saying that it's not detrimental. I just asked you regarding your position on morality.
Yeah, I think morality and basic like scientific principles should generally
Well,
agree.
yeah, the pedophilia is detrimental to society.
And as is polygamy, and they're related, by the way.
No, actually, no, there isn't enough reliable statistics and figures on that.
Actually is. There's actually several
regarding
books
regarding
published
the
on
issue
that.
of
Yeah.
polygamy, because the thing regarding this, I've looked at the figures on when it comes to this issue of polygamy and data. For example, in the case if there's a gender imbalance, then yes.
It causes more violence in society, and it also causes.
If there's a gender imbalance of men and women, yes, polygamy can cause that because of the fact that there's a lack, because it creates a scarcity.
Yeah, it causes a scarcity
and
of
female
women for young
in
men,
terms of
and then those young men
women
turn
for
to
young
violent
men. That's in the
crime.
case that there is a gender, if there's an issue of
Also,
imbalance in
it
gender
also makes
population.
a biological
I've read the
genetic
study.
imbalance in for society, which causes inbreeding.
Then again, like
It can't be how could it cause
Yeah, it
inbreeding for
causes
one
inbreeding.
if in the
There's
case of
towns
okay,
in
if it,
Utah, or is it Utah? Yeah, where the Mormons are, that are inbred, that have really, really high incidence of genetic disorders
That's
because
from a
of
different reason
and
than
polygamy.
just.
if they
Because of
keep it
polygamy.
within if they keep it within the family, then yes.
They
If
get
it's
Yeah,
a
kept
that's
discount
out
the
of,
on
if
it
it,
problem with
for
nobody
sex.
mentioned,
polygamy.
it's not necessarily kept within the
Because you have
family.
whole
We get
towns
How the way
in like
polygamy
3
is done
generations, you have
is
like
good. It will
5,000
vary.
people.
we
So
got a
those
couple of hands
5,000
up.
well,
people
it's not
If it's it
polygamy. It's
interbreed.
not
depends.
polygamy.
It depends on how the way society does it.
All right, hold on, guys. We got a couple of people up here.
Because this
Let's-
is it's a fallacious talking
No,
point.
I get it. Let's see what I think Striplin's been waiting the longest, so we'll go to Striplin. Go ahead, Striplin.
Hey, I'm a Christian member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We're Mormon. You can say that if you want, but